Today we're learning about our second type of conic sections, the circle. The circle is formed when we slice our cone parallel to the base. We get a circular shape. And we're going to think about that as sort of related to the focus idea, like we did with a parabola. We think of the center of the circle as being our focus. And the definition of a circle is that every point on the circle has to be the same distance from that focus point, or the same distance from the center, which we kind of learned in geometry, right? And today we're going to keep our focus point or our center at 0, 0, even though in geometry we did more complicated versions than that. But for sake of simplicity, we're going to keep everything at 0, 0. And we learned by the Pythagorean theorem, we can see that every point that is on a circle, we can think of that as an x and a y point. X squared plus y squared equals r squared, and that basically is the formula for the circle. So x squared plus y squared equals r squared is the equation for a circle. So when you're looking at an equation, how do you decide if it's a circle equation? Well, this one, it has an x squared and a y squared. So that's how we know it's not a parabola. If it were a parabola, it would only have just an x squared and a regular y, or just a y squared and a regular x. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be not a parabola for sure. But those 2's on the front doesn't really look like my x squared plus y squared equals r squared, right? So those 2's need to go. What if I divided those away? Then I'd have x squared plus y squared equals 25. Doesn't that look more like x squared plus y squared equals r squared? Yes. So there's my r squared. Can you tell that r then is 5? 5 squared would be 25. So my radius is 5. The radius of this circle is 5. So if I were going to draw that, remembering that my focus or my center is at 0, 0, and I'm going to draw that with a radius of 5. So I'm just going to go 5 in every direction and do my best to draw a circle of radius 5. Just do your best. And then we could write an equation for a circle. Now, if they just give me the radius, it's going to be pretty simple. I would just write x squared plus y squared equals whatever number they give me and square that. But sometimes they're going to give me just a random point that's on the edge of the circle, right? Like this one. They give me a random x, y value that's on the edge of the circle. Well, I know that every point on that circle has to be the same distance from the center, from 0, 0. I also know that I'm planning on getting an equation that looks like x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Well, I know that negative 9, 2 is an xy value that works. So I know that negative 9, 2 is a true solution to this equation. So wouldn't that help me figure out what the r value must be? Let's figure that out. So negative 9 squared, 2 squared, we technically could stop right here. We know that the radius squared is 85. Normally we would do plus or minus, but in the radius case, we only care about the positive version. So the radius of this circle is the square root of 85. That's kind of an awkward number, 9 point something. But the goal was not to draw it anyway. I guess we could draw it. We would just make it a little over 9 on the graph, the radius. X squared plus y squared equals r squared, remember, was just that 85. That's just our equation. That's the equation of this circle, and we know that the point negative 9, 2 would be on the edge of that circle. That's all there is to it.